Hello, everyone.
World. It's Sarah and Lindsay in the house.
Hello. I'm very excited and very happy to be with my friend Sarah, who I haven't seen. Seeing Sarah is like when you walk into your therapist's office and you're really happy to be in your therapist's office and you're really happy to see them and they say, "How are you doing?" And you say, "I'm great," even though like maybe you were just like crying in your bedroom closet the day before or something like that. Every time I see Sarah, that's how I feel.
I think that's a really good thing.
Well, it's better than having me on this podcast crying in the closet.
Oh, and every time I see and hear Lindsay, my whole being feels like chocolate that I could eat myself. I think Lindsay just spilled coffee everywhere.
Do not sip water around Sarah. Do not sip water around Sarah.
So we
do
not sip water around me, for I am dangerous.
For there will be dangers ahead, yes.
There will be consequences.
Oh, God.
It's on ADWIT. We are
the Audio Drama Writers Independent Toolkit.
Indeed. Woo, woo. Woo, woo. Yeah, we haven't spoken for a while, so we thought this would be our 2022 retrospective.
What a lovely
and
thing
what
to
a
do.
Swear word year it has been, Lindsay, has it not?
Yes, it has.
Have you felt creatively fulfilled or
no
pulled in gentle ways?
I am stuck in the mud like a 67 Chevy with its brake pads completely worn out.
Oh, I will caress you gently.
Thank you.
And fill your fuel gauge with petrol.
I find it incredibly funny that I think one of our episodes that is doing the best right now is the one about being stuck.
Okay.
And I'm the one who needs to take my advice the most. Oh,
okay. Isn't that always the way?
Yes,
right?
yes. I give myself very good advice, but I very seldom follow it. You know, I think that was from Alice in Wonderland. I'm not sure.
Okay.
Hey, something I wanted to say is
Yes, ma'am.
ADWIT has been doing remarkably well in terms of downloads in the Ukraine.
Amazing.
Which I find...
Hooray. Hello, Ukraine.
Hello, Ukraine. And
right stuff. Yeah. That thriving on needing to tell the truth and the real stories. I hope they come out. And if there's anything that we can do to help make that happen, ping us on writersadwit@gmail.com.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that what better way to start than to think about all the glorious things that have happened this year. What is on your top few things that either you've heard, achieved yourself, or just really enjoyed out of audio fiction?
I have a list. So actually one of the things...
Sing the list.
I have a list. So one of the things that I'm very excited about is Silly Old Bear. Silly Old Bear. And it's not just because you're here with me right now. The sound design makes it evergreen content. You can honestly listen to that over and over again, even though when you listen to the stories in Silly Old Bear, you know what's going to happen. You know what's going to happen. It's not like you're sitting here going, "Oh, is Winnie the Pooh going to get the honey or not this time? Is Piglet going to get nervous?" That's not the question. It's comfort listening at its finest. And the cast the voice acting in this is wonderful. Sarah, I mean, I know I've told you before, you're at your coziest in this podcast, but
I love Winnie the Pooh. It's like, I don't know, a British rite of passage, I think, to have that read to you when you were a kid.
Yes.
And so then, and I read it to my kids, the big, thick volume.
Yes.
And, and now to be doing it and sharing it across the world. And what's lovely is like, you know, my nephew's heard me narrate it now and things like that. And that just makes me feel so happy and loves it. And couldn't wait for the next episode. Hello, Seb, if you're listening.
Feel positive and wonderful when you listen to it. So that's one thing that really stood out for me this year. And on the same but opposite end, Chaika.
Yeah,
Chaika.
Karen
Heimdall. So Karen Heimdall is legend, and
I love her.
I
want to be her when I grow up.
Oh, I do too.
Sorry.
With that beautiful voice, but Chaika, honestly, it is beautifully sound designed, beautifully put together, and it's a very hard and complex story. And I have to admit, I struggle listening to it because the stakes are so high for that character, and I feel so sad for her. But I've also got to find out what's happened. I haven't finished listening to it, even though it's not a very long series, because I have to take breaks.
Okay.
And I actually just said to her on Twitter last night, I was listening to it while I was out walking the dog, and it was so sad. And then I said to myself, nope, buck up. You keep listening to this because we got to find out what happens. And then the next morning, I was thinking about it again, and I just lost it and started crying. It's just such.
Well, there is hope, though. There is
hope. Okay, good. Well, I'm hanging in there because I've got to find out what happens. Another one that is, in the same vein of women against, women struggling with everything. Eliza.
I haven't touched in on that. I know it's been recommended by Ella Watson and a few groovy people.
Strap in. It is a thriller.
Okay.
It is a thriller.
Okay.
It is a popcorn chewer.
Oh, nice.
It is a partnership with the Manchester Women's a Manchester Women's organization. The text is about a robot. The subtext is about how women manage domestic violence. And it's a very interesting story. And one of the things that's interesting about the way it's made, it's very dreamlike. You're carried along on this wave of sound. Tom Crowley is in it as supporting voices. And if you've heard him in Crowley Time, Tom Crowley, he's such a delight. So Tom Crowley is like, I really don't want him to think I'm stalking him, and I promise I will stop praising him when he stops being great. I'm not stalking him.
She's behind you.
Stop it. I'm only learning to swim the Atlantic because I want to get those great-looking shoulders. That's not the reason I'm going to swim over and find him. I will stop praising Tom Crowley when he stops being on, when he stops deserving it. So Tom Crowley does all of these. He does all the general male background voices, but because of the kind of stuff that he does in Crowley Time, he's the Lon Chaney. He's the man of 1,000 voices of the current audio drama scene. And well, I'm sure there are more. And I will be happy to hear more people who can do that kind of range.
If you can do that kind of range,
let us
contact us.
And you're not Sarah Golding, let us know. Yeah, oh my God. You and Tom Crowley, you guys could do the cast of zillions. Anyway.
Oh my God, I sure love to.
Yeah, but the thing is...
Let me add it.
And it's not just me listening to it going, oh, there's Tom Crowley. Yay, that makes me happy. Tom Crowley has some genuine stuff in it that, like, when I pictured the story in my head, I did not picture Tom's face, and I was genuinely scared. There were some moments in it that Tom had that were great. So, and Ella Watts is just mopping the floor. She is just making a world of excellent English audio drama that is just fantastic right now.
Yeah.
And another person who's also mopping the floor is Kat Blackard. She's the busiest.
Yes, I love Kat. More Kat. It needs to make more. There needs to be more hours in the day.
More Kat Blackard. Don't Mind Cruxmont. That was another very exciting show that I could not get enough of. That was like, I listened to this podcast when I'm walking the dog. It's, I have to walk the dog now so I can listen to my podcasts.
Okay.
Like, that's what Don't Mind Cruxmont was for me. And I want some of that plum jam. The plum jam.
Yeah.
I want some.
I think Caitlin's making it as we speak.
Oh, I really want some of that plum jam.
Give you a Chalfont's recipe.
Yeah.
No, it was a glorious series and really lovely cast and crew. And Travis just does a super amazing job in mixing all the fun together.
Well, and also speaking of them, the Boar Night. I'm not caught up. That's their brand new thing. I think that is going to be for people right now, like what Dora the Explorer was for kids who grew up in the 90s. I think it's fun.
It's great. Kids content. It's what we need more of. There's not enough kids content for indie audio fiction. I think, you've cited Silly Old Bear and The Born-Nighters too, right?
Yes.
The things you've talked about so far, but there's not many more. There's not a gazillion. So if you're inclined to write for children, write for children, please.
Yeah.
And cast me and my friends.
Well, you know what? E.B. White, who wrote, we may have said this before, E.B. White, who wrote Charlotte's Web, said, anybody who thinks that you have to shift gears when you write for children is going to end up stripping their gears.
Hola.
And
don't want to do that on a dark night.
Yeah, when you write for children, you're also writing for adults. You're writing for adults who need to relax and enjoy something on an emotional level.
Yeah, I've struggled a little with that, bogies and ghoulies. So that's been my writing this year, really, for some more bogies and ghoulies out into the world. And some of it, I think,
the Hat Man scared the hell out of me. The Hat Man. Ted and I sat here listening to it, and I said, do you want to listen to some more bogies and ghoulies? And he said, no, I want to go to bed. And that was the thing. I can't believe he wanted to go to bed. I needed to sit up with the lights on for like at least another half an hour. The Hat Man. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Hat Man. That was so good.
But yeah, no, I very, very much enjoyed that. And I think personally, like in your writing world, have you managed to do anything you've really enjoyed working on this year?
Me?
Yeah.
No. I started working, so I want to learn how to make immersive sound in Logic, because the latest version of Logic apparently makes it easier to do immersive sound. As a result, I started writing a haunted house thing, which started out as just two people walking around a haunted house. And it was a real estate agent and a potential buyer walking around a house. And they, it's all, oh, yes, here's the, old 16th century, 17th century fireplace. And I wrote it to deliberately make sure that there was as much possibility of sound effects as possible so that I could learn how to do that.
Love it.
The more I wrote it, I had one of those days where you just get the blast. And you just ride the wave. And now I've got enough material, I think, for a series. What I don't have is time. I've got the caregiver situation that...
Real life.
Yeah. The way I started it was, well, you can't have a haunted house without knowing why it's haunted. I mean, woo on its own isn't very interesting. Yeah, you have to know... why the house is haunted, what does the ghost want, or what does the poltergeist want, or whatever you've got.
Motivation for the ghost.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's what we need.
So once I started writing about when the house was built and who was there and the Lenape that were displaced when the house was built and so on and so forth.
So Philadelphia based.
It was a big thing.
And based in, so people can come and visit this place that's based on nowhere but could be somewhere and... How very exciting.
Yeah, it's based on a lot of houses I've been. So I did work on that. I wanted to get it done in time for 11th hour. And then I got to this point where I realized this is definitely a ghost story and it's not scary.
Oh.
And I'm like, this is a ghost story. I'm not scared. And if this isn't scaring me, who do I expect it to scare? So then I just dropped it and... move forward. I still have it. It's, I'm still going to work on it. But for right now,
that's really good.
It's resting. So it's resting.
What questions would you want an author of something who got to that point, who realized that? What questions would you want them to be asked so they could move forward? What would be helpful in that moment? Imagine that's me.
I would say, what does scare you, even regardless of this story, what does scare you? Yeah. Write that down and then come back and try to figure out how to work it in what I did after, when I said to myself, well, I don't know. And then I started listening to tons of horror for a while.
Yes.
I listened to
favorite
Campfire
ones.
Audio.
Oh, I love it. John Ballantyne.
They had John Ballantyne.
Yes.
Bon Jalentine. That's his secret hair metal band, Bon Jalentine. John Ballantyne's Campfire Radio, they had a wolf Civil War thing that was really good. Yes. This year, I listened to a lot of 11th Hour.
Hooray!
Yeah, I love 11th Hour. They always have, there's something for everyone on 11th Hour. They always have something on there. Yep.
A quick advert for 11th Hour. If you want to write, if you want to collaborate with other people doing audio horror, then make sure you put a pin in October and keep it free, because you can collaborate by the 11th Hour team in writing, acting, directing, designing, editing, everything. And it only happens in October. Look at the links we'll put on the 11th Hour horror website and join in for 2023. I am going to have
so much fun doing the show notes.
Yeah.
So I worked on that. And also my brother and I have been working on a podcast that is not audio fiction.
Yeah, it's glorious.
But it's fun. My brother has, so please forgive me if I do not use the language to describe autism that you are comfortable with. I have to use the language that I'm comfortable with because that's what I know.
Yeah.
My brother has autism spectrum disorder. And he and I do a lot of work together to improve his job skills. So we do I teach him graphic design, I teach him video editing, and I teach him audio editing. And this year has been all about working on his podcast called Life in the TED Lane, which is about what was interesting was that usually when you say to people, well, what do you want to make a podcast about? They say, and they give you like a 20-minute answer. Ted said, I would like to make a podcast about my adventures, the news from Hollywood and Broadway, the Muppets news, and what it's like to be autistic.
Amazing.
And I'm like, you know what? That is a podcast.
Yep.
That is definitely a podcast.
It is now.
It is so specific, and now it is. And we do a little bit of field recording when we go out places. We do, and he does a lot of the editing. He's learned a bunch of different kinds of software. We're trying to find whichever software is going to be the best fit for him. Right now, he's learning GarageBand. He's intimidated by Logic, but he's going to learn it. Matthew interviewed me about it for Podcraft. If you want to know more about the process of teaching an autistic person how to make a podcast.
Yeah, I think it's glorious. What a skill you're definitely developing, and to make him independently, then have ownership over what he wants to put out into the world. I think that's just blooming amazing.
I have 3 other things that happened this year that I want to talk about. But Sarah, do you want to talk about your list of things that happened this year?
Gosh, yeah, I think I feel like this year has been creatively amazing. Like I've done so many wonderful, fun and brilliant things that are just sating my creative yearning.
Yeah, you're doing a lot.
Emotionally and personally, it's been the worst year I've ever had in my whole life.
Oh, you too, huh?
Breathe. But actually, this creative part, it feeds my beautifully yearning, happy soul. And the people that I've collaborated with and work with, for example, I went and taught this 4-week course up at LIPA, Liverpool Institute of Performing Arts, on acting, voice acting for audio fiction, and the kids, man, look at me, the children, the students, the adult students were superb. And hello, if you're listening, you're absolutely astounding, and I hope you get all of the jobs. And it was exciting to enthuse them and to really just delve into what actually I do as a profession. to break it apart and to make it accessible, to people who haven't done things before. And I had the best of times there, and just circumstance meant that I haven't been able to go back, even though they have asked me, which is marvellous. But yeah, I think beyond that, the whole podcast festival event of November was like crazy. And why did I suggest in a little moment? But it was honestly a really glorious day's event, and I think we are looking on building on it next year, in as much as the supreme tech team, James and Byron, who came along, James Pearce of PSL Productions, they didn't know this for a living, do live streaming events. So next year, people, it's going to be worldwide.
I think that will be awesome.
Yeah, and I'm really excited. And the live shows were astounding, and everyone involved in that were I loved them. When you actually feel love and you're watching something, and the whole room was full of it, that beautiful, lovely feeling of this is groovy, I'm glad I'm here kind of thing. And
did you wear that lovely blue suit?
I did on one day.
Oh, good. I love that blue suit. I think thanks. you look like a Doctor Who regeneration in that.
Oh,
you really do.
If only.
You look like $1 million in that blue suit.
Oh, thanks, pal.
I really think you should.
But yeah, I think, the whole thrill of getting that together and finding Dirk Mag saying yes and telling us all these beautiful, amazing things about his career.
When you got Dirk Mags in there, I thought, oh my.
So did I.
I would have, all of my bodily organs would have just dropped right out of
me.
They
did. I was a complete mess. It took ages to sew them back in. But yeah, I think...
I want to meet him.
He is glorious. He looks just as amazing as he does in the pictures, but 3D, 8D, whatever, is supreme. Just hugely inspiring. Shared some wonderful things and things we can never tell anyone we heard ever. Even that knowledge that we know things that people don't know, that knowing the know that people don't know that they don't know, that they should know, that they never knew.
You're not going to tell me, are you?
I don't know. But yeah, no, that was very exciting. And I think just as well, the whole workshop, so David Devereaux and Tom Crowley. I think this is a drinking game. Whenever you hear Tom Crowley, take a drink. You should be very drunk by now. Essentially, Tom talked about what language we should put in scripts that is useful to voice actors and directors and
I'm so mad that I missed this.
Yeah, it was brilliant.
I'm so upset that I missed this.
Dun. Yeah, he might do it again somewhere.
I hope so.
And David Devereaux's exciting extravaganza on editing and just the top tips of various aspects of their creating process, and also just the humour and gloriousness that is David Devereaux to behold.
I was listening to your interview. I thought it was great.
Groovy, thank you. There's so much, brilliant advice in there. And I think with regards to, the workshop, I was glad to see it live.
And cozy.
Yeah.
It was a cozy listen.
I love a chat to my amazing guests. I think, it's been a glorious year. NDAF, that launched really end of last year. It's a year old now. And because of because of craziness of various real life things, and doing things like the Podfest, which, took up quite a lot of my time because I did do a lot of the things. But it just has sort of been neglected a little bit. So I hope to jump back on. I've got marvellous interviews with some fantastic folks coming up, and I just need to get that up and out again now, so that's my plan. And I think doing things like started to dialogue edit for Oz9 podcast, and that brings me such joy, not only because Shannon's scripts are stellar and consistently hilarious, like just all the time, but I again have such feelings of happiness about all the cast members that editing them and finding their best takes out of all of them being amazing is just the fun part of my day. And I just wish time could expand to do more of that kind of thing. I'm just finishing up on episode 80, season 4, and that kind of skill of dialogue editing I'd really love to talk to more people about another time on a different podcast than this, but yeah, I think there's a lot of it in an art of skill, because I
would like to talk about the art of dialogue editing too.
Okay. Maybe I could talk to you. And just giving the best pace and placing, and just you have so much that you give to the then sound designer and final mixer to then play with. That has kind of laid the bench work, and it's joyous to behold, especially when you then hear it with all the everything else put in with it, and you go, that bit worked, because you have to leave obviously gaps that you think might work for various effects, and as I say, pauses and so on. You have a good play with. So yeah, I think it's a glorious thing to have as a newer skill that I'm doing a lot more of, and just producing my own stuff again is just the best. And I'm torn at the moment, Lindsay, because I love doing Indie AF and I love doing shows like this where we're chatting about stuff, but sometimes there's just not enough time to do the creative kind of side of things, and voice acting wise as well. I've had some glorious roles this year. I've just put in 4 different roles this week as well for the final blitz for the end of the year. And things like On How I Died, and there's alternative stories. They've got a beautiful thing called Postcards from the Edge coming out.
Can I just say one thing that I really wish more audio drama creators would do?
Go for it.
Recap videos. Disney Plus had Tom Hiddleston saying, here's everything you need to know about Loki in 30 seconds. And these were on YouTube. And that way, if you really needed to know all of that backstory before you start consuming the show anew, you're ready for it. If people did mid-season recaps, it would make it much less intimidating for me to jump in on a new show like Oz 9. To start consuming Oz 9 now would make me really happy.
I love that.
Yeah.
I'm going to suggest that to everybody that is making stuff. I love that. Yeah, that recap does help, because I'm a binger as well, so I listen to a lot of things. I have to have at least 6 episodes in a row before. So if it's a new season, I don't start it until it's at least 6 episodes in, because I don't like finishing it. If I finish one, I can't wait for the next one. It's like Traitors on British television right now. I can't wait for the next one.
I'm really glad you said 6 episodes, because that's going to give me a good rule of thumb to be like, how much of a chance do I give a new show before I decide if it's for me or not?
Right, Lindsay, drum roll. It's time for the quiz for Lindsay.
Okay.
You have 5 questions. You have 1 minute to answer each question. Dear. And yes, I know that your ADHD brain is going, please don't do this to me, Sarah, but it's happening. So you have no other say in it. Ready? Question 1. What glorious word should everyone put in their writing in every single audio fiction in 2023? Set the trend. What do we need to be saying? What word? I can hear the brain ticking from here. Bobble. Now, is this bauble, Christmas bauble, or was it bubble hat? You and your accents, you're American.
I'm going to say bauble, B-A-U-B-L-E, bauble. Because it's not a word that I think people use very often, and I think that metaphorically can have a lot of very interesting meanings.
I love it. So name your characters, name towns and places, and make beautiful baubles happen. Love it. Thank you. Question 2. What is the top tip you have for building boundaries around your time and energy as a creative?
Lesson number 1, lock the door to whatever space you can be in and put a dry erase board on the door. Now, I realize that I'm privileged to have a small room where I can lock the door and I can put a dry erase board on that. But
it's not the toilet.
Yeah, it's not a toilet. It's, just a small room. However, if it's a closet, do it. Make your space. And if it's a tent, and make that do not come in here or I will bite you. So give yourself your space.
Some people might like that. Oh, no, sorry. I interrupted.
And also, so what you have to do is you have to be willing to, explain to people, this is what I'm giving you. This is what I'm taking. And in exchange for me taking my 2 hours to work on my podcast, or my 1 hour, or my 5 hours, or whatever, in exchange for that, you are going to, I will do this for you. So it's a give and take with your other people around you.
5.
Exactly.
4.
All right. Yes.
3, 2. Correct. Question.
Sorry. How do you protect your creative time? Bite people. That's how it is.
Bite me. Question 3. What is your favourite article on the podcast host to help audio fiction folk write and make better audio fiction?
Okay.
Made this year.
This
year? A really tough one.
From this year?
Yeah, you have to answer in a Scottish accent for no reason.
Oh, no.
Come on, you got it.
I got a word about Scotch green banana. Scotch green banana. That was...
Banana.
That was the phrase he gave me. The best one would definitely have to be...
right.
It would definitely be... I can't do an accent. Answer questions at the same time.
Swear words are not acceptable as answers.
Wait a minute. It's how to introduce new audiences to fiction podcasts.
We all need to do that, right?
Oh, actually,
yes,
no.
please.
I had 2 really good ones. Another one I had.
But you've got
15
seconds.
The other one, because it had input from David K. Barnes and Evo Terra, and it was how do we know when
3,
your fiction podcast ends?
2,
that was it.
1. I didn't want when never cuts to end.
I know I didn't want when when never cuts ended, but it did.
How could they do that? This has been the worst year ever.
Oh my God.
Question 4. We can't go on with that because I'll just cry. No. Question 4. What?
Yes.
Is your biggest success of 2022? Let's celebrate that. Creatively. In brackets.
It's the haunted house script that I'm sitting on right now that's resting. It's rising. It's rising like a loaf of bread.
It's a little
it's
baking
rising.
dough.
Yes. It's rising like a loaf of bread.
Put baubles in it that people have to walk on.
There's going to be little baubles on top. Yes, that was it. I think, God, I'd love to think there would be something else. Yes, I'd love to think there would be something else. Oh, you know what else? Jesus, Sarah, I've really been struggling on this Iphigenia script, this adaptation of Iphigenia and the more...
It's glorious.
And Sarah, I really just want to I want to quit everything for a week and just sit down and caffeinate up and write it. And Matthew's going to...
Need a writer's retreat.
Oh, that's exactly what I need.
You need a holiday.
I need that. I need perfect retreat. As Fiona says, I need perfect retreat.
Yes.
I need the perfect retreat. Yes.
I have said to my lovely, amazing writer friend, Emily C. A. Snyder of Rosa and Kilda, etc., and Hamlet to Hamilton and a plethora of other amazing
She is
things.
wonderful.
I need a retreat, and currently she is in Stratford-upon-Avon, so we're going to do that. So I think you need to put a writer's retreat time into your 2023 and plan it now and put that little window of gloriousness for you.
I think you're absolutely
to do that.
right.
But don't just talk about it, make it happen. 2023 is a make it happen year, people, all right? I'm not having none of that.
No more procrastination.
This year has been awful.
Short.
Let's just do stuff.
Life is too short.
Grand. So I'm glad. That's good.
I'm writing
Biggest
that down.
successes. We celebrate you, Lindsay. You're amazing. Question 5.
Yes.
What do you want to see more of in 2023?
I would like to see more audio drama podcasters actually make a website for their podcast, because it makes it so much easier for me to share their podcast on the Fiction Podcast Weekly. It makes it easier for me to share it with people who are new to audio fiction. And it makes it easier for me to say to people, hey, this is really good. You should listen to it. And when they need resources, I need something with a concrete URL that's like, oh, okay, you have a casting call? Here is the information, and I can share this.
Yeah, I agree. I think, and just wanted to say huge, hearty thank yous from the world of audio fiction people for all that you do with the Fiction Podcast Weekly News. You're amazing.
Oh, well, thank you.
You do that every single week. I don't do anything. You do everything. And you are just absolutely killing it with the detail and the article breadth and width. And thank you.
Thank you
everybody
for
tell
saying
her
that.
To the
because
microphone,
it's killing
please.
me because nobody is sending things in. Nobody's sending things in. They're not going to. I will put the URL in the show notes, but people need to send things in. The other thing is that the page where you send things in is poorly set up, and I'm going to update it. You have to scroll down you got to scroll down to get to the form to fill out and send it in. But when you have a debut, when you have a brand new show, for the love of God, please go there, fill it out, send it in. When you have a show that's hitting its finale, let me know. When you need to find voice actors, or you need to find a marketing person, or you need to find somebody to just write your tweets for you or whatever.
Send it in. You have won the quiz of ADWIT Joy.
The ADWIT 2022 quiz. You know what? There's a whole lot of other 2022 things that we didn't talk about. We barely talked about the end of Wooden Overcoats. I'm sorry. What a genius. But how well was that put together? Victoriosity had some fabulous episodes, these mini-sodes.
Yes.
That were this very interesting mystery with the buttock tattoos and the bodies in the morgue that had the connected buttock tattoos. Yes. That was a lot of fun.
Can I just say as well, before you move on from them, that congratulations to Jen and Chris who had a baby. They've been making not just audio fiction, and they clever.
I don't know how they're ever going to make audio fiction again.
Well, they have been. They've been in the studios in the last weekend making season 3 of Victoriosity. Can't wait.
Their baby must be remarkably well behaved.
I think the baby is beautiful and amazing in every way, I'm sure. If it's anything like how their audio fictions are constructed, it's one of the best in the world. And, it's just my opinion, but I think, not a lot to live up to there, little lad. But
Victoriosity is great.
It is. I love it so much.
Yes.
It's just, again, there's not many comedies, and there's Oblivity obviously jumped back on the scene this year. Which is
yes, Oblivity is back. Yes. I love Oblivity. I love that show.
Yeah, no, same. Yeah, and then I think the rise of Realm has been fascinating, and we can talk about networks for till the cows come home, really, regarding highs and lows and mids and the throes of agony. But no,
the thrill of victory and the agony of defeat.
But I still hold high that joining a network is a good thing and should be investigated thoroughly. Yeah, I just think there's been some wonderful collaborations this year. There's the 24-hour Hubris and 11th Hour we've mentioned, and a few other podcast weekenders that have been just inspiring people to make stuff. And there was
a podcast. There was a Phonic Fest.
Yes, that's
correct.
Phonic
Fest. Yes, Phonic Fest. You can find them on your favorite podcatcher, but when you're doing a 24-hour thing, you got to be ready. It's like running a marathon.
But I think there's a lot of fun collaboration going on there with people who are very experienced, people doing it for the very first time, and I love that so much. So jump on.
I think that's great.
Keep an eye on that for next time. And I think the amount of things that we're now able to do a bit more in person is just glorious. And I think to be able to celebrate audio fiction in any way, shape or form, I really am. Mm-hmm. I'm proud of what we as the Audio Drama Hub team did. Kareem and Fiona and Michael and Robert.
You did a great.
It was an absolute team effort, and we're grateful to the High Wycombe place
Athenian effort.
Yeah, no, it was glorious. Yeah. And we've learned, from general things that did and didn't work, and hope to make it even more groovy for another time. But I think also, the awards, things that are coming out, and opportunities for people to throw their work, not just written, but also actual completed audio. There's getting a few more of those now, which are getting more fun. And having run Dashingly Quirky again for the 5th year again, it was so great to get so many lovely scripts in. But
is that going to be recorded and published?
It is going to be published, yeah.
Oh, very good. Very good.
It's on my list.
I'm trying to use the word published when people say stuff like launched or released or thrown out there or whatever. I'm trying to use the word published because I think it makes things sound so much more legitimate.
Yeah. But and happy birthday to Wireless, who turned 15 this year, and who are again a bastion of awesome on the audio fiction networks of Audio Joy. So much they're doing in collaboration, of course, with Audible as well. A lot going on there.
And congratulations! They just hired. So Fiona is going to be working with them in some kind of a production capacity instead.
Yes, producing.
Yes.
Yes, Fiona Friel. There's a lot of groovy work, I'm sure, going to be coming out of there and continuing to come out of there. It's glorious. Hurrah for British audio drama.
Well, you know, you invented it. You invented the medium, so... Or, well, I don't know. Now that's a good question.
Yeah, we could do a history. I think that would be very useful. A history in 28 minutes of the history of audio. I love it.
It's a full-service podcast, folks.
It is.
I'm an equal opportunity annoyer.
Oh, love it.
I'll find what to cut out later on. Good Lord, have we been going on for an hour, darling?
We have, and I need to go and hoover my house.
No, you need to hoover your house.
So in finale to this episode,
conclusion,
I really, from the bottom of my heart, Lindsay, hope that your 2023 is gorgeous and astounding and creatively
I hope that yours
happy.
Is so much better. I hope that yours is a vast improvement. I hope that you get to do all of the creative things that you want to do without the stress that we all have to deal with.
I think to everybody listening as well, I hope your year is glorious. And thank you, Lindsay. That's very kind of you. I'm so excited for this next year. I think, yes.
Yeah. What I'm hoping for is more audiences who appreciate a good listen. I can understand why people listen on YouTube because you can leave comments in real time.
Yeah.
But I really wish more people would appreciate audio drama for the medium that it is.
Yeah.
And expand this medium.
Yes, and yes, and yes. Well,
yeah.
The more we say it, the more it's likely to make it so.
This is my audio vision board.
Yeah.
All right. Sarah, I'm gonna wrap it up.
Well, Merry Christmas. Wrap them presents, lady.
Happy Hanukkah. Happy blessed Yule.
Yes.
Blessed
are the cheesemakers. Yes.
Blessed are the cheesemakers. May the light return, rage against the dying of the light. Happy winter solstice to one and all.
Indeed. Have just the best time with friends and family and people you don't know.
Yes.
I love meeting people I don't know. So yeah, have an amazing end of this crazy year and merry everything. And let's make 2023 amazing, dramatic, winning, ingenious, and titillating. That, yes, indeed, I did do the initials of ADWIT. Did you see what I did there, Lindsay?
I'm so proud of you.
Thank you.
How about triumphant?
Triumphant. Is triumphant better than titillating? We'll find it out later.
I love you, Sarah.
I love you back. Bye.
All right. Bye.
You lucky folks have been listening to the Audio Drama Writers Independent Toolkit, hosted by Sarah Golding and Lindsay Friel. Audio engineering, sound design and music, gorgeous music by Vincent Friel. Huzzah! If you enjoyed what you heard, please do write us a review on Podchaser or on Apple Podcasts. Or any podcatcher, quite frankly. We'd love to hear what you think. Or you can tweet about us if you like. Yes, our Twitter handle is @ADWIT Podcast. And please do keep in touch. We'd love to know how you're getting on with all the exercises and more. Or if you just want to say hello, do that too. You can write to us at writersadwit@gmail.com. And for more information about what we're doing and what we're up to and how, visit our website at adwit.org. Thank you very much for listening, people. I hope you have a good day. Take care. Bye.
ADWIT is created and recorded on the unceded land of the Lenni Lenape Nation. To learn more about the Lenape, their history, and their culture, please visit their website at lenapenation.org.
$6630 Productions.